Patiala, the royal city of Punjab, is known for its four crafts, that is Fulkari, Nala and Paranda making, and Tilla Jutti. The objective of the craft cluster visit was to study the existing sustainable and non-sustainable practices within the four crafts. The study comprises of the three aspects under sustainability, that are environmental care, social responsibility, and economic growth. Fulkari, meaning flower embroidery, is usually done on shawls and dupattas worn by women. In earlier days, it was done on handspun khaddar fabric by counting the number of threads, but nowadays a variety of fabrics such as chiffon, georgette, and crepe are used with block printed designs on them. The process of block printing starts with the preparation of dye. A pinch of temporary dye is boiled in 1.5 liters of water for 2 hours. It is cooled down and filtered to get the final dye. The dye pad is prepared by mixing cow dung with water and wrapping it in a cloth. The dye is then applied on it with a brush and printing is done on fabric with the help of wooden blocks of various sizes and designs. Once the printing is done, the wooden blocks are cleaned with plain water and brush. The next stage of Fulkari is the embroidery, which is done using untwisted silk cloth threads of various bright colors. Water and energy consumption. Water is used during the preparation of dye pad when cow dung is mixed with water and for cleaning of the wooden blocks. 2 buckets of water are sufficient for cleaning 40 to 50 wooden blocks. Thus, negligible amount of water is being disposed of into drains. No energy is consumed in the form of electricity or any other non-renewable resources. Artisans work under daylight. Drivers of pollution. There is negligible driver of pollution in the whole process of Fulkari craft. Waste generation. Waste generation is also negligible as only 2 to 3 inches of thread is being wasted per length of thread that is drawn for 3 to 4 lines of stitches. Further, there is no fabric waste and usage of water is also negligible. There is a division of labor with different sets of people doing block printing and embroidery and thus increasing process efficiency. Some artisans are working under self-help groups from whom they get trained for embroidery skills. There were 2 SHGs named Aman Group and Deepak Group at Jhil village Patiala, headed under Karamjeet Kaur. These SHGs were formed as a result of initiatives taken by the Lady Fatima School. There were 12 female members in the Deepak SHG and 10 in the Aman SHG. The standard of living in villages is better off than artisans living in the township area. Most of the craftsmen of Fulkari reside in village areas. The major stakeholders are retailers, artisans, SHGs and customers. Artisans usually remain dissatisfied with the remuneration provided by the retailers. They are able to procure better payments if they sell products directly to the customer. SHGs also encourage the practice of creating joint accounts amongst the artisans. The SHG act as a mediator, manager and communicator for order procurement. Women are involved in the practice of this craft more in numbers as compared to male members and thus are the foundation of economic growth for the cluster. Paranda is a 3-threaded polyester tassel used for braiding of hair, wherein the tassels at either end are embellished with gold threads, beads, bells, etc. Modern parandas are available in a range of simple to highly decorated and expensive ones, which goes as per comfort and budget of the customers. The craft of paranda making involves use of simple tools such as comb, scissor and bucket. The process starts with dyeing of the yarns, where the yarns are dipped in vessels which contain a mix of dye and water. The dipped yarns are hanged on long stretching wires and left to dry for one day. The women folk prepare paranda starting with the making of knots, which is done by tying the 3 strands of yarns to the toe and knotting together. One end of the yarn is knotted, while the other end is twirled with golden beads. The golden foil is wrapped on the twirl with golden thread and the extra part of the foil is cut off. The raw cut end of the foil is finished by winding pearl beads, gota threads around it. The end of the bead is looped to facilitate the insertion of the polyester filament tassels, which tend to hang down in bunches. The tassels are trimmed at the ends to perfection. The upper loop is fitted with mirrors. Environmental. The water consumption in paranda making comes at the stage of yarn dyeing. 10 kgs of yarn bundles with 12 parandas in each bundle are dyed in 20 liters of water procured from tube well. 20 liters of water consume approximately 800 grams of dye. After dyeing, the water is not thrown and used for dyeing the next lot of yarns. There is no energy consumption in the form of electricity or any other non-renewable resources. The artisans work under daylight. The leftover waste plastic sheets and cotton and polyester threads used in making of paranda are disposed of in drains. As plastic and polyester are non-biodegradable, they cause water and soil pollution. 2 to 5% of cotton and polyester threads and 10 to 15% of plastic sheets used in making 1 dozen of parandas gets wasted. This waste is not used any further and disposed of randomly in the environment. Social. No self-help groups have been observed amongst the paranda artisans. However, all the artisans at Bhatindia Mohalla sat together while making paranda. The working conditions of artisans working at their own house appear to be more comfortable in comparison to those working at the retail shops. They enjoyed the work more than the artisans working at the retail shops. Being a women-dominated craft, it acts as an additional source of livelihood for the artisan family. Economic. There is no cost incurred by the artisans. The provision of raw materials to artisans and picking up of finished products from them both are done by retailers. In the absence of self-help group, they remain deprived from the advantages such as common savings account, loan procurement at low interest rates, and easy credit linkage. Nala are drawstrings which hold the salwar, pajama that is pants, and ghagra that is skirt at the waist. Before the advent of machine-made nala, every woman twined plaited and knitted her own, and these skills were passed on from mother to daughter. Presently, two types of nala are being made, which are jali and tape nala. Both are machine-made, and handmade nalas no longer exist. The ends of jali nala are usually decorated with golden yarns and various types of knots to give a look of tassels. The threads for nala making are procured from Panipat and Jalandhar. The spools are threaded by mounting them on a threading machine. The spools are then mounted on the machine, wherein they are made to rotate in concentric circles, and the threads move up to combine together to form a braided pattern. The braided nala is passed through three rotating mechanisms where it gets pressed, which completes the process. The nala is collected in lumps below. Each machine produces 2 kg of nala tape per day. Energy consumption. There is no water consumption in the complete process of nala making. The machines that are used for nala production consume 1 unit of electricity per hour, and they run for 7 to 8 hours a day, which requires 8 units of electricity. There is zero usage of water. Drivers of pollution. The garbage is disposed in sacks, which is picked up by the garbage collector and burned. And in some cases, the artisan himself collects the waste and burns them, creating air pollution. Waste generation. Waste is generated in the form of broken knots. The knots are the threads that get cut during the process and cannot be used any further. Apart from that, there is also thread dust generated in the process, which is found stuck to machine parts. Social. Presently, handmade nalas are no longer made as they are replaced by machine-made nalas. Handmade nala would employ many more artisans than machine-made ones. No SAPs were found amongst the nala artisans. The thread dust could also prove harmful to artisans and people in the vicinity who have allergies to dust and asthma patients. Economics. As the handmade nalas have been replaced by the machine-made nalas, the overall productivity has been increased. Tilla Jutti is the traditional footwear of Punjab. It is hand-stitched and embroidered with golden and silver thread. The embroidery is done on jutti uppers known as panna. The types of leather used in the making of jutti includes camel and goat skin. The upper sole and back pattern or panna and adda are cut with komi in the required pattern for a particular size of shoe. Waist strips are used to reinforce and piping of the panna pattern. Lei is used to paste reinforcing and piping strips for flexibility. Strips from waist leather are used to complete a full pattern of panna and adda if required. In the meantime, the tanbat, that is the inner sole, is cut out and formed, and rexine is pasted upon it for cushioning purpose with diluted Rolex glue. After pasting the piping strips and other reinforcement strips where embroidery is to be done, the panna with markings is handed over to the female artisan for embroidery. The panna after embroidery and adda are again beaten and made softer with water before preparing them for stitching. The panna is first stitched on the lower sole with the help of ari and sua. The thread used is thick cotton spun yarn. After the panna is stitched to the lower sole, it is fitted onto the farma, that is the mold, to take the required shape. Water and energy consumption. Minimal amount of water is used while construction of jutti. Only 300 ml of water is used to moisten the leather for softness, and the same amount of water is used for coloring the leather. The whole process is carried out under sunlight and done only during the daytime. Drivers of pollution. There are negligible drivers of pollution in the complete process of tilla jyoti making. Waste is generated only in form of leather shreds which get reused in making of subsequent juttis. Waste generation. About 300 to 500 grams of leather shreds are wasted while making 15 juttis. Tilla embroidery doesn't generate any quantifiable amount of thread waste. Every other material is utilized to the fullest while construction of tilla jutti in the form of piping of panna edges and completing panna patterns. Social. Health hazards are caused by a chemical adhesive called as Rolex fluid by the artisans. The artisans prefer this chemical adhesive over the traditional homemade glue called lei because of its durability. However, the adhesive is composed of latex which causes dizziness if inhaled. FDDI, that is Footwear Design and Development Institute under Ministry of Commerce and Industry Patiala, mainly trains the artisans on machine construction and machine embroidery for jutti. Tilla jutti is constructed by the male artisans, whereas the tilla embroidery is done by the female artisans. One SHG is dedicated to Punjabi Jutti named as Nav Chetna Group, whose General Secretary is Mr. Shankar Chauhan. It includes 12 artisans under the SHG. The artisans belong to a same community and religion and avail government policies framed for the selected sections of society. Economic. Original tilla has been replaced with zari thread with a change in the customer group from kings and royalty to local people, making it affordable for them. Machine-made jutti are gaining popularity amongst both the artisans and customers. The artisans are able to earn better profits and units per day with machine-made juttis. In machine-made juttis, per day 90 pairs can be made, whereas in handmade juttis only 1 or 2 pairs are produced in a day. This has been the main reason for artisans to migrate to other districts like Fazilka and Malad.